Well, what does that all mean for people trying to live their daily lives in Lebanon as millions remain displaced from their homes? Well, we're going to talk about it in perspective today. And with me here on set is Deputy Chief of Operations at Première Urgence Internationale, Elsa Softic. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us once again, Elsa. I mean, presumably, we saw in that report, we've seen some of the situation on the ground. I mean, what does that mean as Israel has pushed further and further into Lebanon?
Yeah, it's very concerning for the situation of the people that you said have been displaced for a few months now. Some of them have been displaced many times. They've tried to come back to their villages during the so-called ceasefire, and they found only destructions and nothing to stay for. So the further Israel is going to advance on the ground means restriction of humanitarian space, restriction of access to services, to basic services for the people displaced and for the people that are hosting also those displaced persons. The needs are, of course, dire, and what we see is the same kind of operations that we've witnessed in Gaza for the past almost 3 years now, targeting infrastructures and especially the health infrastructures. So this is a very big matter, and health is under attack in Lebanon as well as in Gaza.
And presumably it's even more difficult because for people living in the south of Lebanon have almost become used to this, but people living a little bit further north where Israel is now advancing, perhaps this is much newer for them.
Yeah, maybe there's a part of it, but even though you are used to it, like it's not something that you want to get used to. And not only South Lebanon is concerned, the Bekaa, Amel Baalbek, South Beirut. So 1 million people displaced is 1/5 of the Lebanese population. It's a huge impact. So even though you are not in the area under the bombs every day, you still see the effect of this war, of this terrible war, and you see your colleagues, your brothers, your sisters, your family displaced and without no possibility to return. There is a very important thing that we are witnessing now is there is a buffer zone, military zone, from 4 to 10 kilometers from the borders where people are not allowed to come back. It's more than 150,000 people that are impeached to go back to their land, to their houses. So this is also a very big impact on their capacity to project, their capacity to have a future, and an impact on their mental health.
You mentioned there briefly the south of Beirut. A lot of that area was completely evacuated when there were constant strikes on the south of Beirut.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, that's much more calmed down, although I gather there was a small strike on Beirut yesterday. But those people as well, presumably, are part of that as well, having to be moved out from the capital.
Yeah, and you cannot move 1 million people in like 24 hours. People, they have no place to go also. So some of them, they are staying and they're exposing themselves to those bombings. Some of them are hosting people that left South Lebanon. So this is completely a superposition of crisis. There is multiple layers in this crisis, and it's affecting the access of people to basic services, even the people that are not displaced. Because of course, if you host, 1,000 people in a small village that is used to have 300 people, how do you think the health system is coping? A lot of infrastructures have been closed due to violence. More than 50 primary health care centers are closed. 3 hospitals are closed. Some hospitals are being bombed. We saw 2 days ago the hospital of Jabal Amel hospital in Tyre that was targeted. 300 people were IDPs inside, they were hosted inside. Civilian infrastructures are supposed to be protected by the international humanitarian law, and we are supposed to protect civilians. So this is a complete fall down that we are witnessing now in Lebanon.
So where do people go? I mean, if they haven't got relatives that they can go and stay with, if they can't find a host family, is the solution basically a tent?
Yeah, some of them tent by the road, some of them in what we call collective shelters. So it will be like a school or a hospital, a gymnasium or something that would host people. That Première Urgence Internationale, we are working in those kind of collective shelters, providing essential basic services like food, water, but mostly healthcare. And this is very complicated because those collective shelters are not equipped to host those people, so many people in good conditions and in hygiene conditions. Some of those shelters are schools, so it means that school has also to stop, and it's an impact for those kids that are displaced, but also for the other ones. So yeah, the situation is terrible. What we saw, it's in the first days of the ceasefire. As soon as the ceasefire was the supposed ceasefire was signed, people they went back to their lands, to their houses, to their, sometimes to see that everything is destroyed and that you have to move again. But I think it shows that people are really attached to peace and to their lands and to go back to a normal life as soon as possible. And that's the resilience of Lebanese people that is really amazing.
And how much are you able to do? I mean, you talked about the fact that you're trying to provide food, you're trying to provide medicine as well, I'm sure. But I mean, are the international organisations, is the authorities managing to feed all these people? I mean, as you say, it's thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, so we've been present in Lebanon for the past 20, 30 years even. So we have a very strong network inside all the communities, and we are able to access even the most dangerous areas now. But it doesn't come without any risk. We also need the donors to fund this crisis because, as you said, it's like 1 million people displaced, but also the host communities and the infrastructures destroyed. And Lebanon was also in a very big economic crisis. So it's a superposition of crisis that is even like, maybe we didn't reach the maximum of this crisis yet. And we see that if the Israelis troops are going norther than Litani River, what they say they are going to, it's going to be even worse. So for now, the organization, we have access. Some of us have access to the South Lebanon. We can do what we can under fire, and with the support of our donors and the support of the Ministry of Health in Lebanon. But we are going to come to an end. And we are very, very concerned about how the humanitarians and the first responders are targeted by the Israeli forces, both in Lebanon and in Gaza. And we see the same, for us, it's the same conflict, and we need to be very careful about what we are going to let happen in Lebanon as we let it happen in Gaza. It's saying a lot about what we are going to let happen for the humanity.
Just time to ask you about Gaza. Last time you came in and spoke to us in April, it was in fact, we talked about Gaza. I mean, what's the situation for people there now? I mean, is it basically the same level as it was before? Have things got worse or slightly better?
I think in a way it's even worse because like the attention has gone completely away, and it's like it's protected by this ceasefire. So it's the ceasefire sign, so we are not showing what's happening. Every day the ceasefire is not respected by the Israeli forces. The organization are still not authorized to completely work in Gaza. The situation for the Gazawi and the Palestinian people in general, because the West Bank is also under a big attack, it's critical, and it seems like it's completely forgotten by everyone. So I think it's very important, and thank you for asking this question. It's very important to keep talking about Palestine as well as about Lebanon.
Elsa, thanks very much for coming in once again and talking to us here on France 24. Elsa Softic is Deputy Chief of Operations at Première Urgence Internationale.